Play is important because it is the key to social and emotional development, and it's the key to us developing as a human being, as all mammals do develop. It's the key to our brain and how it develops. And I fully believe that children know what they need when they need it, and they will do what they need when they need it. So play gives us an emotional intelligence that without it we really lack. And before we started on our play journey, I was seeing lots of high achieving children leaving our school, but they were 2D. They didn't have this personality. They didn't have, well, not all of them, I'm being boxing here, but children that had the potential to be more were very well rounded academically, did brilliantly, but they weren't quirky. They didn't relate to you on a human level. Their social emotional understanding wasn't brilliant. They'd have frequent fights with each other because they couldn't share. Regulation was a bit of an issue. They were very insular. They believed they were the centre of the world. And of course children do. But with play, it's possible to open their eyes to the humanness of their surroundings and the needs of their friends, and to understand that they're a connected being. So play not only does it develop the brain and it does what we need to learn, but it develops us as a person. And right now, we need people that are going to navigate a world that we don't know, and we've just proven that by what we're in right now.
Yeah,
I guess play is just the most important thing for creating a well-rounded person that not necessarily has to be the most bright, intelligent as defined by academics, but they are very connected and understand their strengths and can use them. And I think that's really, really important. I mean, with Jacinda right now, you're seeing her strength come to the fore because her strength is communication. Her strength is understanding the human situation. Opposed to other leaders around the world, her humanness comes through and bounds, and that's what we're relating to. That's what we're seeing. She understands us, her gentleness, her manner. She doesn't come through as I've made this decision and this is what we're doing. She lets us in to that and explains and very much understands, and that's what play gives. It gives us Jacinda. A person like Jacinda, a person that can relate, basically.
I really loved how you said it gives us humanness, because I've been thinking about the practicality of it, how it makes us quite resourceful, because at this time that's the people who are thriving, is being able to be flexible and resourceful, but the humanness, that trumps that even more so.
Yeah.
How do you see?
And most of the feedback has been that our kids aren't getting bored, and that's what we want, because at school we don't direct them. So at home they should be able to direct them. That was a big message to parents too. Don't suddenly think that you have to direct this. Your child has an interest. They know how to follow their interest. You watch. And then feed in. So we talked about interests and urges a little bit on video. So watch your child. What do they want to do? What are they interested in? And go with it. Because they do that at school, they're going to do it quite naturally at home.
So this is Leslee Allen. I've interviewed you before on my podcast to Shed Curiosity. If you wanted to know more about her journey as a teacher, listen to that. Leslee is a principal at Kōrero Hore School up north of Auckland. I just say north because I'm the centre of the universe right now. She's a principal there. She has been doing learning through play for a long time at the school, and she also runs something called Number Agents and has written a program for that as well. So you're just really a wealth of knowledge. So today I just really wanted to check in. We've kind of already really started of how, what are you feeling like, families and tamariki? What kind of support are they needing right now? What are you hearing from the community?
Ours just basically right at the beginning, like I said, I've been front-footing a lot of this. So right at the beginning, I put a video together about we are a play-based school. We value creativity. It doesn't look like when you went to school. Please do not replicate that in your home. please know this time is not going to damage your child academically. It could benefit them with connection. And that we know that attachment is so important to families. And this is a time that some of them now have never ever had. So don't ruin it by being a drill master sergeant and sitting down and expecting them to sit for long periods of time. So I just made a video and reinforced play, play, play. And that was really well received because I think they felt they had to be teachers, and that is not what we want them to feel they have to be at the moment. I think they've got enough on their plate navigating a very unknown time with enough stress in their lives without them taking that stress and placing it by becoming a teacher and then transferring it to their child. So my message has just been really clear that we value creativity and play. We'll give you this from school. Obviously, we're doing online stuff, but how you use that and whether you use that is completely up to you. And we've got a lot of creative parents, so we've been sharing a lot of what's happening. And my dogs did the toilet paper challenge, so I shared that on Facebook. And just trying to lighten the mood, you know, like we're all human, and it's the human connection that we're craving at the moment.
Yeah. What about your teachers? How are they finding the switch to remote learning?
We had a couple of days, and so that was really interesting. We've never used, so we use Seesaw as our tool, but we've never used it remotely. It's always been a sharing tool. So we had 2 days to learn how children accessed at home learning and how we could make activities and share that. And we did the most PD in that. Well, I think it was 2 hours. So we did a couple of hours of us talking, and then we went away and had a go, and then we came back and shared what we'd found out. We made a live Google document with ideas for each other. And then the next day, if they felt they didn't have to come back, they didn't come back. They were sweet. If they felt they needed to come back, because, you know, we like our classroom things, so go and get your classroom things. Because I think that's the biggest thing is we're removed from this classroom and we're having to be really flexible. However, that's what we value in children. So, they were brilliant and they're doing a great job. And once again, the message to them was do your best. That's all you can ask. You know, we've got varying levels of IT knowledge. I've had emergency calls because people have deleted their Seesaw account. You know, like it's just, we're varying degrees of knowledge. However, it's been a really interesting learning curve, and we've certainly got a lot out of it, a huge amount of it. So they're good and as good as they can be. And obviously they won't have to come back under level 3 if they don't feel they can. So there's no pressure. Because at this time, no one needs pressure. Of course, there's lots of volunteers to come back because that's the way they are.
Yeah. How are they promoting play? Like I wrote a question, you've kind of really answered it. Is play important right now? You know, it is, but how are they remotely promoting like play? Some examples?
So in our morning messages, we talk about play. Particularly in the juniors, we're really pushing that continue to play today. It's really important. But when we sat down and talked about the Seesaw and the activities, we wanted them to have a creative side where the child could take it their own way, interact it with their own way. So we're trying not to, of course, there's narrow things being presented, and that's okay. Some of the kids love doing stuff like do this, do this, do this. And then there's just lots of share something you've made. So it's really open and then sharing with the rest of the class. And one example of a little guy that's just come into his own because he's an engineer, and the things he's created have blown the teacher away. So just keeping the task, although I said to them that they need to have curriculum, the parents need to see the curriculum content because they need to have confidence that whatever this is capturing. So you've got to remember that they don't have that understanding that we do. So some essence of maths and literacy in the day would be great, but then whatever else should be as open as possible and as creative as possible, and not too much. Just a couple of things. And we've all been reading stories. We've all been reading stories and things like that. So yeah.
Mm. Do you think?
Just sharing bits of our stories. I know, like, I can only talk to my class because we all have your own approaches. We've been just filming ourselves a lot and being really nuts. But just bringing lots of the drama in as well. So
Mm.
we've brought our costumes home and we've worn silly glasses when we're talking about alphabet and just trying to be, just try and bring a bit of what we would be in the classroom to them so that, so we're reinforcing that, I guess, creating and innovating, and a lot of the tasks require that. And if they don't want to do it, then that's fine.
Mm. So how do you see schools coming out of this? What's your bigger picture?
Um, I've been doing a little bit of a sequential post on Facebook about strategies that I'd like to see this be a catalyst for. I mean, obviously there's some that should have been in place a long time ago and hopefully in place in most schools. But I started it with a blog post about we've been preparing for the unknown, but it's here. This is the great unknown. This is what we keep saying. We don't know what we're preparing children for. We don't know what it will look like in 10 years, 20 years. What do we do? This is the great unknown. And how are we coping? Well, some of us have coped incredibly well, and we've understood that at this time, we have to step back. Like you said, we have to have no power and trust the people in power. And we have to trust the people in power are doing the right thing. Some of us have found this time really hard. We've had strong anxiety, we've worried. We haven't been as resourceful. We bought lots of flour, we bought lots of toilet paper, we panicked. This is a great unknown. How as adults have we responded? Because we want the best in our response to be what we're giving our kids. And so I'd like the change in education to be the realization that we are developing the best human that they can be, and we're knowing their strengths because we all have different ones. There's not many people that could stand up in front of a country and lead. But there's a lot of people in the background. There's a lot of supermarket workers that are doing an incredible job, and they are just as important. So not all children have to be Albert Einstein. Not all children have to, be reading and writing and doing this amazing things to a high level and going to university, because they may have an innate strength that they can give the world. And so I want schools to actually understand that if they give kids time, we'll see those strengths. And those are the strengths we need. Not that we won't work on their weaknesses and the needs, but the strength could be the most powerful thing for the unknown. So it's not us preparing them for the unknown. They've already got it in there. That's actually acknowledging that we're there, we're already in the unknown, and where can we go to? What strength can we get from children to be the ones that didn't buy all the toilet paper, basically? Because, it sounds ridiculous, but in the way we're operating, we've all got our jobs to do. And no one's job is less important. And the reason the country's got so well through this is because the majority of us have coped quite well.
It sounds that you talk about strengths, and I was thinking about success, the success criteria, and changing that perception that parents have of what a successful kid will look like in the future. It's really opening their eyes to actually there's a wealth of success. And
how many of us suddenly panicked and bought plants because we wanted to have a veggie garden? We've never had a veggie garden. How many of us suddenly realised the things that were important, that the things that we held as important actually are not now? We can't even access them. How resourceful are we in our own homes? And we all started baking. We were never baking before. The flour disappeared. So, and even I have been baking. So those skills, if we give those to kids, are we giving them to children? Are we allowing them those experiences to grow, to make, to plant, to create, to understand they can be self-sufficient? Because maybe that's the great unknown. So, it's just a thought. But
Yeah.
there's lots of things that I think can change. And so I've been doing a little bit of a revolving blog post thing that I'll turn into a big blog of the things I think should be the strategies going forward.
Cool. I'll put a little link to Leslee's blog at the end of this.
Mm,
Is there, just wrapping up, is there one last thing that you want to get out there to parents, to kids, to teachers? Is there a final message that you want to share?
I just think it's important that we don't feel that at this time children are missing out, that we flip that and we see how they can benefit, because we know that connection is really vital and really important, and our brain craves it. And at this time, they have that opportunity to have that connection with their family more than ever before. In essence, the bubble was those people important to me. And for children, some of them have had mum and dad go to work every day from the time they were 3 months. I know mine has. And this time is a time to be attached. And so this time may give them the gift that they didn't have prior. We know the brain can rebuild itself. We know that those things we found difficult before can be overcome. We know that behaviour is just a need. Perhaps in this time we can provide for their needs and forget about cramming things in, because it's not going to go away and they're not going to go backwards and they're not going to miss out. And if they haven't got internet and they haven't got a device, and it does not matter. They have themselves, they have whoever's in their bubble with them, and they have the ability to be creative and to still learn. We don't need those things to learn. Like I said, the things that could be important are not things accessed through the internet or with a device.
Yeah. I've seen quite a bit of posts lately, one from Penny Brownlee and Longworth, talking about the power of conversation and how we learn just as much through that.
Oh, and board games and just things that facilitate that conversation. You know, just sitting and Lego and building, you know, opportunities to be bored. Yeah.
Well,
we've had lots of that.
Hey, thanks so much for sharing your time and spreading the word for play, and lots of love to everyone out there.
That's cool. All good. Thank you.